Hey guys, what's up? I guess this will be another small update. My last video talked about my snails. Well, 4th of July, we had our first clutch actually hatched. Not the full, clutch didn't fully hatch. Just some of them. I don't know how that works. I don't know if they all hatch at the same time or because they get laid at the same time or they just hatch as they develop or some develop and some don't. I don't know. But some of them did, and they were so tiny. I couldn't get pictures. I couldn't get it on video because it doesn't do it justice. It's like you can't even tell. They're so tiny, and I was like so like appalled like and how small they were. And at first I thought they were crumbs or something, but no, they were actually. I was like, they're crumbs of something. I was like, what is on this glass? And it's in a corner. And I looked really, really closely. You can see these little baby antennas. And I'm thinking, they're snails. They're so tiny. They're like a grain of salt tiny. So I don't know, but anyway, so they hatched on 4th of July, so I called them our Yankee Doodle snails babies. So I'm really happy about that. Meanwhile, I watched last night around like 3 or 4 o'clock this morning. I watched literally in real time another snail lay another clutch, and I'm like, oh great! So now we have like 4 or 5 of them now, and but it was at 3 or 4 o'clock this morning. I could not sleep. I had a horrible backache because I couldn't get comfortable. Again, I'm still on the couch because we're getting there. We're making waves on my room, but it's a slow process. And so anyway, so like my back is starting to hurt me, and I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I gotta resituate. I'm gonna take me some leave and whatever. So but I got up and I went to go to the restroom, and that's when I passed by the aquarium and I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm literally watching. If you've never, you can probably find videos on YouTube, but there's like the way a snail lays their eggs is very cool. Like it comes out from their shell across the top part of their body, and this white thing, it just kind of slithers out like a little round thing, almost like think of it almost like a pimple, like it's about like that size, and it looks like that. It literally is that white. It comes out, it comes across their body, and it goes like against the glass, and literally the snail like kind of pushes it in position, and then meanwhile the snail, like you can see their skin almost like kind of contracting, like they're working on it, and it's so cool. And I was sitting there literally for half an hour back and forth from watching the tank, and I was like, and I ended up waking up my daughter. God bless her, considering she didn't go to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning, because like she stayed up all night and all day yesterday working on modules for her new scribe job, which I'm proud of her, by the way. She started today in the medical field. So yeah, I'm so proud of her. She ended up going. She had to go today full day to learn the system and get basically work along the meet the nurses, the doctors, and so forth. So I'm really proud of her about that. So anyway, so she just got to bed. So I ended up waking her up. She just went to bed. She hadn't even been asleep, not even an hour. Woke her up. I'm like, hey, do you want to watch this? And so she's like, so she got up. She went to go look, and she goes, that is so cool. And so I'm like in it though, and I was like, they always seem to lay around 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was like, that is so neat, right? And then so she was like, and then after she saw 1 or 2 of the eggs come out, and then she was like, okay, well, I'm going back to bed. And so she went back to bed. I didn't fall back asleep till almost 5:30 this morning. My alarm went off at 8 something this morning because I had my therapy session at 9, and I'm like, typically I have therapy on Tuesdays, but I end up having it today because I was supposed to have another appointment tomorrow, but that appointment got canceled from the doctor. So the doctors ended up canceling that appointment, so we just kept, so yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so I'm excited about the snail thing. But unfortunately, I'm going to end up having to, our tank can't hold that many snails, even if they do get born, because it's invasive. And we have fish in there too as well, and we don't want to get this ecosystem off. And so I'm having to, I'm going to have to remove the clutches humanely, and basically put them in a baggie or some Tupperware, freeze them for 24 hours, before basically trashing them. So, I mean, it sounds bad. I feel bad because I feel like they're babies. You know, I don't want to harm a creature. But if I don't do this, it's going to harm more. It's going to harm my fish in the long run, and it's gonna overpower the tank because they can lay up to 150 eggs at one time in one clutch, and I got 5 clutches. That's way too many babies or potential babies. So I just don't want to deal with that. So, and I don't not just deal with it, but I just don't have the space and I don't have the setup, and I can't do that. Now, I can, if possible, I can try to let them grow a little bit. I thought about this. Try to let it grow as much as I can, and then scoop them up, and then I can release them out to a lake, not a pond, but a lake, because it won't mess up the ecosystem. Because I got these snails here in the USA, and they were bred here in the U.S. and they're going to be in U.S. water, so it's not going to mess up the system. But I can release them that way. But that's going to take time, and not only that, in the meantime, it can still kill my fish. I've already lost 2 fish already, so I'm like, I only got 3 left. One looks kind of ill. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but yeah. So I'm trying not to mess up. I don't think it's the snails killing them though, but I just think it's like I just don't want the system of the tank getting off. So the only other way to control this and still keep my snails is I got to keep the water level very high because they'll keep them from laying their eggs. And it's not going to hurt them if they don't lay their eggs. They just won't lay them. So I can, the only way to keep, so, but before I got a chance to, raise my water, they lay their clutches because they lay them outside of water. Well, my water level's low. That's why it's really loud. And if you can look back here, this is the tank. You see this space right there? I don't know if you can kind of see it. You see one of my light is on. I turned the other one off because it was too bright. But right in there, you can almost see a fish right there. But that's how low the water is, and it's okay. The fish are fine with the level, but that space is where the clutches are at. They're laying them out of the water, and I didn't get a chance during the time, right before the first one got laid. I was actually the next day we were gonna clean the tank and put more water in there, do a water change and do it before we got a chance to do it. The very next day, I noticed there was a clutch. And I found out if you put water in it, it will drown them. And I didn't want to drown them because I wanted to give them a chance to at least have one round of babies. So yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. So I'm at the point where I think I'm going to probably here in the next week or so go ahead before that water gets even lower. I'm going to go ahead and probably remove the clutches and humanely freeze them and get rid of them, and just before they actually hatch, because I don't want to deal with the whole releasing them out into the wild and or having an invasive overrun by the tank. So, but just so you know, future reference, if you ever get aquatic snails, you do your research first. And it's hard to tell which one's a boy, which one's a girl at the time either, too. So you got to be careful on that too. So you have to do your research. You take chances. So yeah, then we took a chance. So anyways, this was just basically a quick update about the snails, in case you guys were wondering. And I think that's pretty much it. So I had to really talk to you guys about. It's exciting. I got to watch some snails hatch, and last night, I watched some actually basically get laid. So I kind of saw the whole cycle. So it was kind of interesting. But anyways, I'll give you more updates if you're interested. Comment down below. Just write the word snails or put a picture of a snail and let me know. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I guess that's it. So have a great day. Bye.